What are we doing? Oh, there we go. Okay. Hi guys, this is Heather. Welcome back to my channel. I am going to do a tutorial on how to wrap a cabochon that has a hole drilled in it from front to back. This is just an onyx, but it's really pretty. I like it. It reminds me of a bumblebee stone. But anyways, that's what this one's going to be about. I've got 5 lengths of 20 gauge wire that's cut 15 inches long because I like to have extra wire. And I'm going to do a modified sumac weave. And I'm going to show you how to do it on this so that it's easier for you to see. These are just some chopsticks that I got. So if you're, and I've got 26 gauge wire that I'm going to wrap with. But to start with, you're going to take the piece of wire and you're going to hang on to about 1 inch of it or so. And you're going to secure it so pretend this is wire, okay? Now we're going to take our another wire. We're going to wrap around so that you can go across 2 wires. And you're going to come up between the 2 wires. And this is a modified sumac weave. I've seen people do this on YouTube and they always seem to miss a step. So this is just to clarify. So now I'm going to wrap another one. Going up, I'm wrapping around 2 wires. And this works with 2 wires. It works with 10 wires. It's just the same pattern all the way. So now I'm going to wrap around 2 wires. Alright. And here's where people make the mistake of doing modified sumac weave. They come down and they wrap around this wire. And that's wrong. Because coming down, the pattern has got to have 1 wire wrapped around every wire. One weaving wire has to be wrapped around every core wire. So here we go 2. This example is with 4, 3, 4. And now we're going to go back up again around 2. And I'm always wrapping away from myself. I'm going to wrap around 1 because now I'm going to go back down, and every wire, every core wire has to have a wrap. So that's 2 sets right there. This one, and then this one and this one. That's 1 set. So up and down, up and down. And the beauty of this pattern is that no matter what way you look at it, it's the same pattern. So if you ever sit this down, I should have made that a little longer, and come back to it an hour or a day later, you don't have to worry about where you were at in the design because it's the same pattern. So I'll flip it back again so you can see. So that's basically what this wrap is going to be. 2. And then you have to wrap around that top wire so that you have a coil around every core wire. So that's 3 sets. So there you have it. So I'll leave this right here. I'm going to put my wires in. I'm going to start. This is kind of, these wires are a nasty mess right now. I should straighten them out, but I'll just straighten them as I go. So this is about center, and I'm going to start maybe 1.5 inches left of center. So I'm going to use this wonderful clamp that I got from Karen Walmsley. Put my wires in here. And I want them kind of close together, but not so tight that I can't get a wire between them. So bear with me while I just do a quick little separation, and then I'm going to pinch this down. I'm going to hold it with my thumb, and I'm going to spin that tight. There we go. So now let me get this pulled down. See if this needs to be tight too. Yeah, the bottom one needs to be tightened up too. So I'm just going to hold that screw with my thumb, the screw head. Okay, something under my thumbnail there. There, now it's nice and tight. Okay, now I'm going to just kind of straighten these out a little bit. The top wire, I want it to bend up a little. This one I want up a little. The one in the middle, I want to be mostly straight. That kink out of there. Okay, so I'm just going to start this here now. I'm not going to do the whole weave because I'm either going to do just the back and have it kind of swoop here, or else I'll do it so that it comes around the whole back side down here and then come up to the top. And this is just one way of doing this. You can do this many ways. So I'll get my 26 gauge wire here, and I'll just get started. So I'm going to just hang on to well, I'm going to give myself a good 12 inches or so. So I'm going to take the bottom wire. This wire is bent too much. I'm going to straighten it out a little. In fact, I'm going to just give these all a bend up. Okay. So I'm just going to secure this with about maybe 3. Okay. Now I'm going to go around 2. Pull it down. Come up between wires 1 and 2. Oh, this is the wrong wire. Sorry. I had 2 wires hanging out of my... Here we go. I thought it was a 20. I thought that was a 28 because it was acting awfully thin. Feeling awfully thin. So we'll start over. I don't want you in there. I need a sip of coffee. This is better. The difference between 26 and 28 gauge is that 26 will expand quicker than a 28 gauge wire because, of course, 28 gauge wire is thinner, so it takes longer excuse me, to fill up the space. So now I'm coming up between 1 and 2. Pulling up, wrapping around 2 wires. So I'm wrapping around 2 and 3, coming down, and I'm just repeating this pattern from what I used with the cotton thread that I showed you on the chopsticks. Now I'm going to come up between 3 and 4. And I'm going to wrap around 4 and 5. Give that a smoosh up against this really nice clamp. Seriously, guys, you can locate her on Facebook, K and W Woodworking, and just send her a private message and ask her about 1 or 2 or 10. These are awesome. It forces you, let me explain a little bit. I've got several different types of clamps. I've got the cheap ones from the hardware store that are just rubber tipped, but when you put the wire in, they have to go off at an angle, so that bends them. The ring clamp, I've got a ring clamp that does the same thing. It works, and it's a big old bulky thing, but they have to go in at an angle. Whereas this one, they can go straight. You got plenty of room here. You can probably do, 10 or 15 wires across if you want. Really ingenious, actually. So now I'm going to come down. And I'm not getting any kickbacks from Karen. Just so you know. But she is a good Facebook friend. And she's excellent wire weaver. Just a friendly person. Good ethics. Can't say enough nice things about her. So I'm coming down, wrapping around 1 core wire as I go. Now I've got all 5 wires encompassed. Can you see? And now I'm going to repeat, going right back up again. That's 1 set. Wrapping around 2 wires in front. Going up. Wrapping around 2 and 3. Coming up underneath 3. Wrapping around 3 and 4. Coming up under 4. Wrapping around 5. 4 and 5. And now I'm going to come up under 5. And I'm going to wrap around again. So now I've started the trip back down. Now I'm going to wrap around 4. I'm going to wrap around 3. Wrap around 2. And I'm going to wrap around 1. See if I can find my pliers. Some pliers, any pliers, these will work. I like nylon jaw pliers. But these are right in front of me, so I'll just use these. Now I'm going to give this a little push. Every 2 or 3 sets, you want to give it a push. And just get them smashed together. So you can see, lighting is horrible. But it makes a nice weave. It's very, it looks complex, but it's very easy to do once you get the hang of it. So I'm going to finish enough to get around the back side of this. Or I might just go like a partial away. Let me think about it. But I'll do that off camera and then I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. I've got just a hair over 2 inches. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to adjust my camera so I can work a little closer to myself. Whoops, sorry. Hopefully that doesn't bump again. Let me get my cord moved. Okay. So now I'm going to take this out of the clamp and I'm going to do some checking. Put that aside. The beauty of this weave is that it looks the same on the back as it does on the front. There's one thing I want to point out, and that's right, let's see. Right here. I had a little bit of a loose wire there. So this will become the back, obviously. So I'm going to lay that on the back of the stone so that nobody ever sees it. So now I'm going to just shape this. Start bending it a little bit at a time. And I like asymmetrical, so what that means is it's not going to be even. I'm not going to have this end here come here and here. I'll probably bring it around so that got I'm going to get a little more. That looks pretty good. So I'll now just zhuzh this a little bit, make it more. And I've got longer on one side than the other, so actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to make it the other way. And now I've got too much of a bend there, so I'm going to just kind of give that a little bit of a tweak. So that they're pretty much, well, they're closer to even. They're not exactly even. All right. So now on this one, I'm going to take two wires. This is all arbitrary. You can do whatever you want here. But I'm going to do maybe a 5-2 weave, but it's going to be upside down so that the five coils will be on this inner wire, and the two going around it will be the two. So what that means is I'll probably go two like that, and then I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and I may do more than 5, it depends. With 26 gauge, that will probably look all right. Oops, and then I'll go 2. I'll wrap around both of them like that, and then I'll go back. Three, 4, 5. And obviously cotton cord reacts differently. But that's what it's going to look like. And then I'll move it around to the front. So I'm going to do a few of those. And you want to make sure that they don't cross over each other. Okay, there's 2. Whoop. going to bend these out of my way here. So that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think I want a few more than 5. That seems a little short. So I'm going to do 2 more and see what that looks like. So when you're designing a piece, this is basically all you're doing. It's like, what do you like? What do you want to do? What can the wire do for you, basically? So that, I think we'll go with 7. So we'll do a 7-2 weave, or a 2-7 weave, whatever, however you want to label it. Hi, kitty. So there's 2. So now we're going to go back and we're going to do, we're going to do 7 on that inner wire. And I'm only calling it an inner wire because it's between, it's not an outside piece. 2, 3. See how I push it down with my thumbnail all the time? And my finger. So that was 4, 5, 6, 7. And I'm going to do this real time so you can see how long it takes. This would probably go a little smoother if I were using a 28 gauge. But I want, there's substance with a 26 gauge and I kind of just like it. Plus it goes faster. Whoops, I missed my wire. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I can do this a little faster normally, but I'm just being very methodical so that you can hopefully see what's going on here. Change my lighting a little bit. One, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, So let's bring this around. I'm going to give this a little bend because I want the main, the 7 coils to now be on the outside. Gently grabbing that with the pliers. I don't want to smash the wire at all. Okay, so I need to go about 3/4 of an inch yet. One, two, seven. And I don't know what I'm going to do with this yet. I just wanted to bring something to the front to add an element. Excuse me. So I'm going to wait till I get up to the hole, and then I'll just probably work on another part of the design. There's 7. Do one more and then I'll check it. I'm laying them right next to each other. I don't want to wrap them over each other. Make a cross over, and it's not neat. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So now we'll check it again. And I think one more set. So 2, 2, I'm going to do 5, 2, 3, 4, whoop, 5. Push that down with my thumb. Okay, that'll work. All right, so now on this side, so I'll straighten these out and get them out of my way. And I'm going to bend this up like that. And I've got 11 inches here on this side. So I'll probably have to piece. So I'm going to get this wire out of the way. So now let's see, what will I do on this side? I think what I will do is I will just coil it. So I'm going to back off what I did to secure the wire in the first place. Give this a little pinch to straighten them out. Get in there with my thumbnail. Okay. Put that down. And I'm going to come up and over, and I'm going to go into this wire here. And now we're just going to coil. I'm pushing it down really tight. So what I'll do is I'll coil up this wire and then I'll be right back. Excuse me. Okay, I've got this wire coiled, the 11 inches. I'm going to need more, but I want to weave these sets of 3 here. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do here. I'm going to secure another wire. 1, 2, 3. And now I'll add another wire. And I think I'm going to go 3-3 weave. So 1, 2, 3. And then I'm going to come up between those 2 wires. And then I'll add my 3rd wire. Well, I'll just incorporate 2, 3, and then I'm going to come all the way down, and I'm going to repeat the pattern. 1, 2, 3. Now this pattern is not reversible, so it depends on what you want to show. I'll do a couple more here, and then I'll turn it over so you can see what it looks like. So if you decide you like the back side better, then by all means wrap it that way so that the back side will show, which will then become the front. One, 2, 3. Okay. So then this is what the back side looks like. You've got this long, you'll have a long wire here and a long wire here, and then a separation with just 1 wire. So it depends on what you want to see. So I want this side to show, so I'm going to hold it this way. And I'm going to take my 26 gauge, and I'm just going to give myself just an inch to hang on to. And I'm just going to get it in here and secure it. So that should do. Now I'm going to wrap around 3 times around wires 1 and 2. 1, out of the way. 2, 3. I'm going to come up between wires 1 and 2. And I'm going to wrap around 3 times around 2 and 3. And now there's a fine line between wrapping it really tight and just getting it snug, which I had it a little tight on that other one. But I want to make sure I have room to get my weaving wire in there. So that's 3, pinch that together, come down all the way, and now I'm going to come up and wrap it around 1 and 2, so I'm going to come down between 2 and 3. So there's 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Give that a pinch or a squish. I'm compressing. So you can trim this off now, or you can trim it off when you're done. It doesn't matter. I'm going to just get in here and get as close as I can with my flush cutters. Put that in the trash. Give it a feel. There's a slight pokey bit. I'm just giving it a pinch, and it's all gone. So I'm going to continue on so that comes up to either the hole or the apex of the stone. So I have about an inch to go, I think. But this weave goes pretty fast. And again, you want to make sure that you're not crossing your wires over each other. You want to lay them right next to each other so that they're nice and neat. I'm coming up between wires 1 and 2 because I got to do the other 3. 1, 2. I'm kind of just massaging that wire in place. People say you pull yarn and you push wire. Well, I disagree with that statement slightly. You're pulling and pushing at the same time while you're manipulating it, because I'm pulling, I'm pushing. Get that between wires 2 and 3. Now I'm pushing and now I'm pulling. Pushing, pulling, and pushing at the same time. One, 2, 3. Now I'm going to compress because I've done a whole rotation. So I'll do one more for you, and then what I'll do is I'll go off camera. I'll finish this up to the apex. I'll do the same pattern on this other 3 wires, so that it creates some kind of symmetry to the back. Because we want the back to look as nice as the front. Because we all know that when you're wearing a necklace, it flips around while you're walking or moving. So we don't want an eyesore to poke out if it flips. At least I don't. So there's that. Okay, so I will finish this up here to the apex, and then we will get to the point of the whole video of how to secure it to the top with the hole so that the hole doesn't show, and make it look like, oh, I just tucked it in that hole. So we don't want that either. We want it to say, oh, how did they do that, kind of thing. So I'll be right back. Okay, I've got both of the sets of 3 wires done, and now I'm ready to make the bail. So I think I'll make the bail first before I do anything else. So now I'm going to have these 6 wires here. But what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to do a 4-wire bail. So I'm going to come up between wires 1 and 2 of this set, and we're going to eliminate this wire. We're not going to cut it off, we're just going to eliminate it from the weave. So now I'm going to pull this one out of the way as well, and I'm just putting a gentle curve in it. I don't want to put a kink in it. So now I'm going to bring these together. And I think what I'll do is, let's see, how do I want to weave this? I think I'm going to wrap around the 2. And then I'm going to come up and I'm going to wrap around this one. And I'm going to bring them together by wrapping around the 2. This is just to secure. I'm not actually weaving the bail yet. I'm just securing them together. So this is basically a continuation of the modified sumac weave, actually. Alright. Now I'm going to come back down because I want to work from the bottom up. That's just my preference. You can do it however you want. This will just make it a little more secure. So I'm going to make one full rotation of the modified sumac so that it will go up and back. Okay. That looks good. Now I trim this off. Oops, wrong pliers. Too many red handles. Actually, the way that's sitting, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to push it through that weave. If I would have cut that off just the way it was, it would have come loose. So I'm just going to secure it. Okay, so now that it's on the back, I've secured it twice. That should be good. So now I'm going to come in and I'm going to be very careful not to cut my weaving wire. I'm going to snip that. Come on. There we go. Put that in the trash. And even though this is on the inside and you'll never feel that pokey bit, I'm going to give it a squeeze anyways, just because I like to be consistent. And I see one that I forgot. So I'll trim that off as well. Now this part is going to show or be on the outside, so we want to make sure that it doesn't snag on anyone's clothing or on their skin. We don't want scratching people. Okay, there's that. All right, so let me get my wires untangled. And we'll do a 4. I'll adjust these wires in a minute here. But in the first couple rows, I'm going to come around both the bottom 2 wires, come up between 1 and 2, and now I'm going to do a figure 8 between 2 and 3. So I'm going to go in between 2 and 3. I'm going to come up around 3, go down between 2 and 3, and now I'm going to wrap around 3 and 4. Okay, and now I will wrap around 3, do another figure 8 between 3 and 2, and I'll wrap around both 1 and 2. All right. So now that I've got that figured out, that's going to be my weave. So now I'm going to angle these out so that they are symmetrical. Wrap around. Now we're going back up, so I'm going to wrap around 2, do a figure 8 between 2 and 3. And I'm not pulling hard here because I don't want to bend my wires out of shape. Doing a figure 8 between 2 and 3. Wrapping around both 1 and 2. I'm sure there's probably another video about this weave on YouTube, because there is nothing new anymore. I mean, wire weaving has been around for centuries, literally. So if someone says they came up with this design on their own, you'll probably find it in a picture of antiques somewhere. Smithsonian Institute, who knows? Okay, time to do another figure 8. Alright, you get the idea? Wrapping around both. Now I'm going to wrap around number 3 again. Doing a figure 8. I'm going to do this for maybe, 3/4 of an inch or so, maybe a 1/2 inch. And then I'm going to straighten the wire so that they're going perpendicular to the plane of the bottom of the piece. And I'll be right back. I'll show you how I do the, when you go in to cinch, it's a little harder because it likes to spring up, and then your weave becomes loose and it doesn't look really good. And this is going to be on the front, this part is going to be on the front side, so we want to be extra careful with that. So let me get to that point and I'll be right back. Okay, so here's what I've got so far. What I did was I bent these wires after they were bent out like that. Then I straightened them out so that they would go about 2 rotations of straight. That just gives me a little more at the top of the bale. And then I bent them back together so that they will mimic the bottom half, the back half. Like that. And then I bent the wires out because it's easier to weave that way. So we're ready to do a figure 8. Oh, let me get in the shot here. My stuff out of the way. So I'm going to hold this with this finger because that's where my wire is. And I'm pushing it in. I'm not pulling, I'm just pushing. And now I'm going to switch to this side. Wrap it around both wires. Capture it again with my finger. Ready? I'm holding it down. And now I'm going to come across. And if this wire gets bent, that's okay because, oops, I'm going to lose my stone. I've still got this, my curve, so that's all right. All right, so now my finger's going to switch to this side. I'm going to wrap around both. Capture it again. Now I'm ready to do my figure 8 again. And I'm getting low on my wire, but I should have enough just to, at least to complete this veil. Figure 8 coming up to the top. Grabbing it. Wrapping around both. Now I'm going to wrap around that inner wire there. Pulling it straight down. Now I'm switching to the other side. Well, actually, my finger is bridging both now because the space is getting smaller. But I want to keep a hold of that wire at all times so that it doesn't want to spring up on me, or so that it won't spring up. Because being that I'm working from the back side, and this piece is going to be on the front side of the bale, we want to make sure that this looks really nice. If it's the back side, you can get away with a little bit of looseness. But there's really no point. If you learn this technique, both your front and your back side of your bale will look good. Just takes a little practice. I've been weaving for off and on for going on 6 years now. But I take time out to do quilting and painting. And so I don't touch a wire for months at a time. So I'm not as adept at, a person who's been weaving for 6 years non-stop. But you see, I'm always holding on to it because I don't want it to slide up on me. And if you've ever done this, you'll know, you'll see it right away if you don't hold on to it. It'll want to spring up on you. And one of the keys to that is not pulling your wire so tight like if I were to pull this tight like that, can you see that gap there? We don't want that. We want to wrap it right next to. Got to get that kink out of there now. Okay, see how that spread up? I got to push that back down, get that back in line. I'm holding it. Got it right next to that other wire. Now I can wrap it around both. But I'm always pinching it between my finger and my thumb, or just holding it in place with my finger. So we go there. We're getting close. My phone storage shut off the video because it was full, so luckily I caught it in time. So we're going to finish this up here. Where was I? Okay, so now I got to wrap around both wires. Hopefully I removed enough storage that I can finish the video. Otherwise I'll have to start over again. Remove more pictures. So now we're getting close to the end, so I don't have to quite be as diligent as holding the wire as I was before. Next, we're going to make a bail. We're going to shape it, figure out what we need to do. So I'm going to stop right there. Got a bail. Now I need, I'm just going to use one of my file handles. These work really good. You can use a excuse me. You can use bail making pliers, whatever you want. I'll use this, but you could use this as well. So we got the stone, we got the back done for now, from what just woven anyway. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this right here, and I'm going to pull this over in the center. Get that out of the way. Just like that. A nice bail. Now we're going to sit this in and see what we need to do. We can wrap 3 wires Just trying to figure out what I want to do with this. This will come around and make some kind of a swirl. This is going to come up like that. I got these 2 wires yet. Okay, I'm going to bend that out of the way. All right, so I guess what I'll do is I'm going to wrap 2 wires. And I think what I'm going to do is the modified Sumac weave on just 2 wires so you can see what that looks like. So I need to come up. I went around both, so now I got to come up between the 2, come down, wrap around the bottom one. I'm going to pull this up a little bit and I'll reshape the bail later. Oh, thought I missed that top wire. And it's much easier to wrap this if you don't have stuff in the way. But you can do any wrap you want if you're going to follow this pattern. This is just one of a gazillion ways to do this. Excuse me. You see that? Wrapping around both. Now I'm going to wrap around the 2 separately. So you get the idea. And I think I'm going to stop right there for now. And now on this wire, where are my pliers? Whoop, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Got just a little bit of a bend there. I don't want that bend like that. So I'm going to just straighten it out a little. And it's all about tweaking. And we'll do even more tweaking with a little, well, it's a big thumbtack. But I think what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get some 28 gauge because I want texture. And I want the coil to be a little thinner than this one here. So it'll be just a little more delicate, and I'm going to wrap this wire here. So let me get that 28 gauge that I had used by mistake in the beginning. And I'm going to just straighten out those kinks that I put in it. So I'm going to start up here. And you've seen this before on lots of videos. I'm just coiling it. And I'm not going to waste this end wire. I'm going to go ahead and wrap that on. It's kind of big, so I might have a little bump there. I'll have to, hang on one sec. I need to get my cord out of the way. There we go. And if you find that while you're coiling, your wraps are loose, it's really easy to fix that. You just take that end wire there and you just keep twisting until that looseness comes out. And at the same time now you're getting that so that it's not going to poke out anywhere. So you just wrap it. I keep hitting my finger on that wire. Keeps bending it. Give it a pinch. Move it down a little bit till you get as much of it wrapped as you want. I'm just going to wrap up as much of this wire as far as this wire will take me, because this was just a leftover piece from another project. And if it's not long enough, I can get another piece of 28 gauge and continue coiling. This does work harden your wire, so you just want to be mindful of that. I usually don't have any problems with it becoming so brittle that it breaks on me, though. Just sometimes it gets little waves in it, but that's okay because this is just a coil. Nobody's gonna see that part. It's gonna just disappear into the wrap. And I see I have another bend in my wire, so I'm going to just give that a little gentle nudge. Okay, I think that's far enough for right now. And then if I have to do any more, I can add more later. But while I was doing that, I was thinking I can secure this bail now. I knew that was going to happen. I pinched it too hard. If you have like a crochet hook laying around, you can put the crochet hook in there and then just leave it. Like one of these chopsticks that I've got here. This is too loose. But you could just leave that in there if it was tight enough. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one of these wires. I think I'll take this one. And I'm going to wrap it around and secure. No, I'm not going to. I'm going to use the other one. So here's where we're going to give this a kind of a sharp bend. We're going to pull it, tug on it really nice and tight. And I think I want this to be out of the way, so I'm not going to include that in the wrap. So I've pulled down now. Now what I'm going to do is, we're back again. Had to remove some more pictures. We were pinching this wire down so that it is going to be really tight. So I got this side pinched, this top pinched, and now we're going to pinch this other side. And I think, yeah, I'll wrap it up around the top here. So I'm going to pinch it again. Bring it up to the side, and we're going to pinch it again. Bent nose pliers works really well for this project, this part. Now we're going to squeeze it down again, because we want to make sure that this is nice and tight. Okay, so we got that part done. Let's see what we need to do here. Whoa, oh, I did not want to do that. That's okay. Great learning experience. We just take our pliers and just start massaging it. I'm going to stick my stone back up in here now, because we got to get that bent up to accommodate the apex of the stone. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go off camera and I'm going to weave at least probably another inch of this modified sumac weave on these two wires, and then I'll come right back. Okay, so I've got the weave done to the point where I'm going to turn it around to the back. I've swooped the bare wire down beside it. The coiled wire is down beside it as well. And then this wire, I made a few more 7/2 weaves, and I've got the wire that has the 7 coils on the base, the core wire, underneath this wire here. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. And then these 2 wires, I think I want to bring up just a little bit and make a swoop. Some kind of a swoop, just to make it look like it's being secured. Maybe like that. If I make it any bigger, I'll have to add more wire there. So I'll just think about that for a minute. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to bring this around and I'm going to try to tuck it underneath all of these wires here. And my goal, I'm going to go ahead and use that hole to secure my stone in place. So I got it through. I don't know if this is going to work or not. This is all just, now I'm trying to clean up my hot mess is all I'm doing. Give it another tug. And I'm wiggling it back and forth just to get it to be nice and tight. So now the stone is in there, it's not going anywhere. But I don't like that this is showing, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to tuck it. In other words, I'm going to try to bend it in so that it can't be seen. I want it to appear as though my wrapping is securing everything. So with this wire being here, I'm going to take this wire just to get it, and I'm just going to wrap it just like that, just for now, because that's going to hold it in place. Hot mess. Yeah? So here, I'm going to take this and bring this around, but I want it to lay this one. I want it to follow that 7/2 weave that we did. I'm going to bring it around to the back. Oh, sorry. Hang on one sec. Let me get... I hit my camera holder. So I think I've got enough wire there, so I'm going to cut this off. Old cutters. They don't cut very well anymore. So now I'm just cinching that end down, because I don't want anything to poke out. So now what I need to do is I want to bring it through here. And I don't know where I'm going to go yet. I just want to look at it first. Okay, so that's that. I don't want it to show on the front, so I'm going to keep it in back. So far, so good. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to put... I'll try to straighten it first. I'm just going to try to put a little gentle bend in there. I don't want it to be straight. I want it to be very organic. So now I'm going to get my cutters and I'm going to give myself about 1/8 of an inch there. And now I'm going to bend that around. And tuck it under if I can. Grab it there. Get my stone out of the way. Which is another bonus of having this secured with the wire. If you didn't, this would be a lot harder to tuck this wire under. This way I can work from both sides. And now I'm just going to give that a little pinch. Now that wire is secure. So one down. And now this one's going to come down as well right next to it. Looking pretty. So this one's going to come down as well, and it's going to go underneath there. I'm going to have it fall along the bottom of that wire. And this one, it might be oh, sorry. Might be a little too short, but I'm going to try it. If not, then I will trim off the end of this wire so that it is nice and neat, and I'll make a little curl. But it looks like it's going in. There we go. Now I want to see what I'm doing on this side. I'm just going to give that a little pinch. And now that one is secure. Excuse me. And this one, I'm just massaging it. That's good. I'm going to stop right there with that wire, the weaving wire, because I don't want to wrap. If I take the whole wrap, let's say it was wrapped another ½ inch. And I tried to tuck it underneath there, it's going to create buildup between the back of the stone. And I don't want that. So it's looking good so far. I think what I want to do is bring this around this way. And this one. I'm going to bring this down here. And have it follow the other wires. And this is, like I said before, this is all just I don't have anything in mind, so I'm just trying to clean it up. And I've got all this extra wire, so you might as well make it look good. So I think what I want to do is I want to make a little coil, just to add interest to the back. Got a little coil there, and it's just a little too far up, so I'm gonna, there we go. Alright, and now I'm gonna bring it around again. And now I think I'll snip it off and I'll make a coil there. No, I'm not, because if I do, then I will have to sew it down, and I don't want to sew it down. So I'm going to bend it back through. And I'm going to create 2 more wraps just like that. Bring that under. Pull it up. Give that a a smash. I'm not smashing too hard, I'm just flattening it, because if you smash too hard, you'll mar the wire. Now on this one, there's my end piece, and I'm going to go in and cut that with the flush cutter so that what I want to go away goes into the bucket. And I've mentioned that before. Flush cutters are, this is the side where the wires you're going to keep. And if you want your stuff to go in the garbage, this is the bucket. Like that. So it's trash. Alright, so now I can flatten this. And it's now part of the design. And when you patina your piece, that's going to give you a lot of depth. So I like to add depth. Alright, so that side's done, and you can see the hole is now covered up. You can't see it. This, I'm not quite sure. Not quite sure what I'm going to do with that yet. So, okay, so I'll finish this piece here. I'm going to bring that through. I don't want to go in there. See how I got a nice curl there? So we're going to just build on that and make another smaller curl. Like that. And then what I think I'm going to do is I'm just going to tuck that back in there. So I'm going to hold on to this so that I don't pull it out. But I did, that went the wrong direction, so we're going to get it going this way. Give it a little tug. I wonder, I might have damaged this piece too much. We'll see what happens. Okay, we can continue on. I was going to cut it off, but I thought, nah, instead of wasting that wire, we'll just keep it as part of the design element. Okay, now what we'll do is we'll tuck it in. So I'm going to cut some off here. Throw that in the garbage. I think I'm going to take these. These are tinier. I'm gonna get that in there. There. That looks good. And now I'm going to pinch that down flat up against that wire. Isn't that pretty? See, you could do that. That could be the front just as much as the back, which is what I like to do. Alright, now on this side, I don't want to think about it yet. Let's see what we can do with these wires here. This wire is going to come off. I don't need this wire anymore. So I've got to figure out where it is. Right there. So I'll get in there and snip just that wire. I don't want to snip anything else. Not at this point of the game. Which, by the way, I've done that before. Which is really sad. It is super sad. I think I want I think I want to put a bead right here. Maybe a crystal. My bailiff getting shifted. This what would that look like if I did that? That's kind of pretty. But then what would I do with it? I've already wrapped. Okay, I'm going to bring this down. Give that a little bend. Bring this wire back. Bring this wire back. You gotta flatten that. I don't like that. Squeeze your wires tight so that they don't bulge on you. Okay. So this one I'm going to tuck into here. So I'm going to snip off just enough so that I can, it's about 1/8 of an inch beyond the weave. So I'm going to snip it right there. I'm going to take my little tiny micro pliers and I'm going to bend that in. And I'm going to bend it down and smash it. So that's one wire taken care of. And this one, okay, I think that's good there. So I'm going to do the same thing to this wire here. I'm going to snip it off. Just enough so I can tuck it in. Get my micro pliers. Bend that in. And smash it down. Okay. So now I'm going to I'm going to get an accent crystal or a copper bead, one of the two. I'll be right back. Okay. I grabbed a few. I've got, I think this is a 3, 4, and a 5, and this is a 4mm. So we're going to see what we can do here. I think I want to put, I'm going to thread the 5mm on to this top wire here. And just look at it for a minute. I think I like that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just bring this wire around. Just like that. And And I think that'll get tucked in the back there. Still don't know what I'm going to do with this wire yet. But I think that's what we're going to do here. Alright, so pulling it. Kind of want to bring these wires together. Somehow tie them together. Just going to tweak this a little bit. Okay. So I'm holding those wires and I'm going to pull this one through. And I want it to come up where these are going to come in as well. Keep them together, at least for now I do anyway. Okay. So there's that. I need to get that bend out of there. My intention is to make another swoop. Just like that. And I hope I have enough wire. Just barely. Okay. We're almost done. Trying to get that pushed in there. I don't want that coming out. If I can get in there, no. Maybe. Give it a little pinch. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm off camera. My bad. Oh, I dented my wire. Oh, I'll get my diamond file out here. See if I can smooth that out a little bit. Diamond files you can file either way. If you buy files with grooves in them, you have to push only. That's a pet peeve of mine when I watch YouTube videos. I see people doing that. And it's not good for the file, because what you're doing is you're grading down that, ouch, it was built for a purpose. And when you pull instead of push, you're degrading that groove, and you're basically ruining it. So over time, there's not going to be much left of it, and you're going to have to buy more, buy new ones. Okay, let's see. Do I want to incorporate these beads? Let me see what they look like. If I can find the hole. And then this one, I think I'm going to coil around this one. So I'm going to get another 28 gauge, another hunk of 28 gauge, which is right up here. Just a couple feet. Oh, sorry. Oof. Cramped desk. We're adding texture. Let me clean off my area. Everything's in the way. Put my extra pieces back there. Just finishing off this wrap here. Get my bent nose pliers. Ugh. Well, that one's not going to work. My eyes are getting tired and I can't even see what I'm doing anymore, and I got it. Oh, I got it fixed already. Okay. I was just going to cut it off because I thought I'd wrapped it over the wire and made a bunch. But I didn't. Okay. So let's hurry up and get this done. A little more to go. I'm sorry, was I in? I had to do yet? Just a little more. I have a kink in my wire. One more time. Hopefully I can get this done before we run out of time. I don't have any more storage left on my phone. So I've taken these wires and I've wrapped them around. They're coiled under. I'm going to clip these so that I've got just enough to tuck underneath that woven wire. Give myself a little bit there. Throw that in the garbage. I took the wire that was in front, that had been coiled, that had been wrapped around the bail, and I tucked it in and I pulled it around to the back. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a spiral to cover that up. And I'm not quite sure how big I want it yet, so I'm just going to give myself a lot there. I'm just going to spiral that in. Just like that. And now I'm going to just give it a little tuck right there. Give it a smoosh. Just like that. So I'll tuck these in later just because I don't have to, I'm afraid my thing's gonna not end it. But there you have it. And if you don't like something, like I don't like this has like a flat spot here. I'm gonna come in here and give it a little gentle push and give that a little bit of a curve there. See how that makes it look a little better? And if I want to bring this down a little more, I can. Just like that. So this is ready to go into the patina pot. I hope you like this video. Please subscribe, like, and share. Leave a comment. Let me know what you think. What would you like me to do next? Kind of thing. Give me suggestions or ideas. This one was a request on Facebook page that I belong to. She had wanted to know how to wrap a stone that had a hole drilled in it. And I said I could do a video on it. And she said, yeah. Along with other people, they all said they wanted to too. So, if you're watching, Kay, hi. And thanks, guys. Bless you all. And hope you join me in the next video. See you later. Bye.